Whoa, kitty!
Chances are, if you're a fan of hip-hop, you've heard that tag more than a few times recently. 27-year-old Connecticut native Kenneth Bloom III, better known by his stage name Kenny Beats, is one of rap's biggest up-and-coming producers right now. But how did this guy, that was doing EDM remixes of the Chainsmokers in 2017, become one of hip-hop's new favorite faces? This is an introduction to Kenny Beats. As he's discussed in interviews, Kenny has always had a love for music. He's been playing guitar since age 8, he moved on to drums soon after, and started making rap beats by age 15. In high school, he was inviting local rappers over to his dad's apartment, recording in a makeshift closet/studio, and he was doing anything he could to make his way into the music industry. His hard work led him to an unpaid, uncredited internship with the Sony-owned label Cinematic Music Group. This internship eventually gave him the opportunity to do some really early work for the TDE guys like Ab-Soul and Schoolboy Q. Kenny even made a record for Kendrick way back in the day, but it was eventually given to Smoke DZA instead. During this time, Kenny was attending the Berklee College of Music in Boston, easily one of the premier music schools in the US. And while he loved making beats, it wasn't really making him any money. That's when he met Ryan Marks. Kenny had recently started getting into EDM music. He saw guys like Bauer and Flosstradamus using trap drums but succeeding in electronic dance music. Kenny thought his beat sounded similar enough that the transition wouldn't be that hard. Him and his friend Ryan formed an EDM DJ duo called LOUDPVCK, and within a few months, he had a manager, an agent, and flights back and forth to LA. Over the next 3 years, from 2014 to 2017, Kenny and Ryan rose up in the ranks of electronic dance music. They traveled the world, hit festival stages all over the place, made official remixes for the Chainsmokers, and what started out as a side project really gave Kenny his first chance to be a professional, full-time musician. But he wasn't happy. Kenny wanted to pursue his love for hip-hop, so he called it quits with LOUDPVCK in 2017 and started training to be the rap producer that we've all come to know and love. He wanted to learn how to mix and master a song top to bottom like the pros do. He didn't want to be just another beat maker. And if you were listening to rap music in 2018, you know how the rest of the story goes. Kenny Beats was everywhere. Just in that year alone, we have a credit on Travis Scott and Quavo's Huncho Jack, a collab album with Key, he started working with now BFF Rico Nasty, the incredible Freddie Gibbs, 03 Greedo, he was all over Vince Staples' FM, we've got JPEG Mafia, we've got JID, Ski Mask the Slump God, and the list goes on. But why all of a sudden are so many high-profile rappers begging for a chance to work with Kenny Beats? The short answer is that he's a great producer, but we can go deeper than that. Like I mentioned before, Kenny is more than just a beat maker. He's a producer. He's not interested in making a bunch of general trap beats that could be applicable to half the people in the game right now. He wants to work with the musicians to make something that will come from within both of them. Even if an artist does like a beat that Kenny already has in his back pocket, he'll go the extra mile to tailor that song to their specific needs. Here's a snippet from a Pitchfork interview about working with Vince Staples on FM. As soon as we met up, I wasn't really asking questions, I was more gauging where he was at right then in terms of music. I played him some stuff I'd been working on, instrumentals I hoped would get him excited. We started going through specific kind of vibes and it slowly started taking this shape. It wasn't really me specifically saying, oh, I want to give him this kind of beat. It was more Vince dictating the tempo and feel and me reacting. There was an arc to everything he asked me to do when I went to his studio. He always hears the finished version of his work, and I'm just trying to fit in with that. I just wanted to give him the best versions of all the different stuff he was looking for. This is the dream scenario for a rapper. It's like when you have an actor and director that are on the same page, and they're willing to work with one another to enhance the film. Having a talented producer that is thorough and flexible is a godsend. And speaking of flexibility, let's not forget that Kenny was deep in the EDM game for years. Being knowledgeable in how to work in two different genres will not only make it easier for Kenny to make high quality music, it'll help differentiate his stuff from the rest, too. If you have the option to work with a producer that's been making the same kind of trap beats for their whole career, Or the guy that's traveled the world playing EDM music and he's worked with all these rappers? Who are you gonna pick? Anyways, besides his actual music, I think the world has fallen in love with Kenny Beats because he seems like a genuinely good guy that has a lot of fun making his art. For one, we have the funny story behind his now famous producer tag. Apparently Kenny asked frequent collaborator Key to come up with a tag for him. Key just got in the booth and made fun of him for a few minutes, and then the very last thing he said was,
"Whoa, kidding! How is it so perfect?"
After he did an interview with Fantano, the internet blew up with comments about everyone being baffled that Kenny Beats was a white guy. This led to a lot of funny responses from Kenny, and eventually this amazing credit in Rico Nasty's music video for Sandy, which was directed by their mutual friend, comedian Zach Fox. Speaking of these three, they've all become my favorite people in the world over the last year or so, and watching them interact is the funniest thing. Rico's personal tag for Kenny is the best. Kenny! They have this love-hate brother-sister dynamic that warms my cold, dead heart. And then there's Zach. Besides Zach making fun of him on Twitter, we have his episode of The Cave. P.S. I didn't speak on this much, but Kenny recently started this series on YouTube where he brings in rappers, they ask him for a specific kind of beat, Kenny makes it on the spot, and then the rapper freestyles. It's great, definitely a must-watch show. But Kenny brought in Zach Fox for an episode, and I'm not even gonna say anything. It's the most I've laughed in a really long time, and viewer discretion is definitely advised, so don't say I didn't warn you. With all this in mind, it's clear why the world has grown to love Kenny Beats so much in such a short amount of time. He's a great talent, he seems like a genuinely good guy, and I wish him the best going forward. Stream his new project with Rico, it's amazing, and I'll see you later. Hey, thank you for watching. Big shout out to Kenny. I love everything he's standing for, everything he's doing. If you want to support the channel, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on social media at RenshawHS. Buy my merch, support my Patreon, and thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.